Turns out you might not have to run real ads anymore, which is really a relief and is a really strange thing for me to say because I love advertising to the point that I have 100x ROAS tattooed across my knuckles. The reason I say that is because I started doing content, like just giving away free content and stuff earlier this year. And then I was like, what if I just show people this content, but use it as an ad, but don't actually tell anyone to buy anything? And the weirdest thing happened. I'll cut to the chase with this and then I'll show you how it works. So this is the end result of this experiment so far. This is just for the past 4 days, by the way. Spent $2,100 on Facebook and YouTube. I'll show you the ads and the structure and everything so you can try this. I've gotten 38 trials for oJoy.ai, and that is just from people who type in oJoy.ai and like go to the site or Google it or search for it on Yahoo or Bing or whatever. And that is not counting the people who go and start to take a trial. They fill out like the first step, but then they don't fill out the order form. That's just people who freaking search for it, type it in, and immediately buy. So it cost me $56.74 to get a trial, which I'll take forever because when I did try real ads, quote unquote, like the hardcore kind and stuff.
I'll make you $1 million if you just pay me 10 grand. Buy my stuff.
It cost me more and it was harder. This is so freaking easy and cool. So earlier on in the year, I started making free content and I was like, I'll just run it as an ad and maybe, I don't know, see what happens. So the first thing that I did, I turned into an ad was this video right here. And this is a video of me just teaching people how to use oJoy.ai. It's taken from, I think, a live webinar, and I'm just literally walking people through like, all right, now if you want to really make it right, crazy cool stuff, like do this. That's the whole thing. It's not like
buy my stuff at all.
It's purely education. The second ad I started running was on YouTube, and it was this one. And man, this is terrible, by the way. First of all, it doesn't tell anyone to buy anything. No CTA, there's no hook. There's nothing. I call all of these boring ass videos. This is a 22-minute segment from a live webinar I did where I just showed people how to do stuff. And it's awful because it's lit worse than this. All right, and the audio is worse than this one. I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll start running that as an ad too. So basically what these two things are, this one and this thing, is I'm paying money to just educate people for free on how to get results, which is like not something that one would think is a good business decision. But here's why it's working. The way I'm running these ads is I'm not telling Facebook and YouTube to get me customers. I'm telling it to like just show the ads to people. And when you don't tell it to get you customers and you use like a reach objective or just a video views objective, it's so much cheaper and you can get really granular in your targeting. For example, this ad targets people who are in the US between 35 and 55 and who like AI, and they have to also like content marketing, and they have to also like conversion marketing. So it's a relatively small audience. It's super cheap for me to show them these videos. This one on YouTube over here, this one, started running this thing in June. It is targeting people in the United States between the same age ranges in the top 30% income bracket who have searched for AI copywriting. It's costing me 4 cents to get somebody to start watching one of those videos. And the thing about the YouTube ones, and this is a big deal in my opinion anyway, is it's not the type of ad that like interrupts the stuff you're already watching. It's an in-feed ad. So they like just see it, they click on it, then they watch it. It's that type of ad, and it's still that freaking cheap to get people to watch it. So essentially the strategy, first, step number one is I get this super granular targeted audience, like no one that's not interested in AI copywriting would ever want to watch that video, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm targeting them. I show them, my hyper targeted audience, a boring ass video. And the reason I call it a boring ass video is because nobody other than the customer that you want would ever want to watch that video. Like there's no viral hook, there's nothing cool. It's just like, here's how to do this stuff. And the reason I deliberately am like not making it cool looking is because I retarget these people. So the top of my funnel is this super educational content, this super freaking boring unless you're really into writing copy with AI, all right? And then I just retarget those people. And on YouTube, I retarget them with more boring ass videos. So I have yet to make an actual YouTube video ad for my stuff. All of the ads that I'm showing here, let me show them to you, are these right here. So this is literally a YouTube video that I just made for content. And I was like, oh no, I'll just show them to people as ads that watch that other video and see what happens. It doesn't tell anyone to buy anything. It's pure education. And then I made this one. This is actually the first YouTube video I ever made about oJoy. It's 45 freaking minutes long, dear God. So like nobody in their right mind is gonna watch that unless they're into AI copywriting. You would have to be just deprived of any other form of entertainment to watch this stuff unless you were really into AI copywriting and stuff. And so that's why it's working. See the green right there? That's how many people are watching it on television. So you can't click TV, so they just hear me talk about oJoy.ai. They see me doing stuff, like here's how to make stuff. And they're like,
maybe I'll check this out.
That's the big YouTube strategy. That's the whole thing. Super targeted audience. Just get video views and then retarget the people who watched the first one with more stuff that's like the first one. God forbid I actually tell them to buy something. I'll probably do that next and we'll really go hog wild crazy. Now on Facebook, it's a little bit more complicated. And by a little bit more complicated, I mean there's like more boring ass videos, and those are like just like the other ones, but they're not long. Just made them shorter, like 2.5 minutes. But it's just me going like, hey, here's how to do some cool stuff. Bye. And then there's these. I take the retargeting audience, the people who watch my boring ass video on Facebook and stuff. I retarget them with more boring ass videos that just teach them stuff for free, show them that, hey, here's this thing, it's pretty cool, here's how to use it, that's all. Then I have these other ads that are the cheapest ads ever, and they just give away free advice on a picture. Let me show them to you. So here's what the ad set looks like, and this is a cool little trick here. The way this works is this campaign, this retargeting campaign, is set up with the reach objective, and by default, reach objective will only show your ad to somebody once every 7 days. I'm just running a 7-day retargeting audience anyway, but I've got 18 ad sets in here, and I have it set to spend $4 a day to the same audience for each ad. So over the course of a week, people see 18 different ads from me, but it's super freaking cheap. I spent $266 on this in the last 4 days, but this is what these ads look like. How to make content that sells. Focus on two things: what your prospect wants, how they can get it. Help them get what they want, and they'll want to buy your stuff. oJoy can help you do that. Try it free. You can't click the thingy, but you can click this. Now here's what's really insane. I really should change this, by the way. I track everything. A lot of people click it, but when they click it, they don't buy it. Instead, they click it and then later they freaking type in the domain. It is the weirdest thing ever. And I should really have I have my domain name prominently displayed here. So that's like kind of one of the tricks. So it's always got my domain name very prominently shown, but it's really just free advice on a picture, that's it. So why you should use stories in your marketing. Stanford released a study that said people are 20 times more likely to remember your brand if you use stories. The sentence you just read was a story. oJoy can write cool stories for you. Try it free. And then again, people click these, check it out. Here's the traffic. So I'm getting clicks from those ads are like $3.59 each. But again, I'm tracking it, dude. People who click it, they don't buy. They just come back later because they see these little value cards. They just give free advice and have oJoy.ai on there. They see these 18 times over a 7-day period, but each one's different. So I'm not showing them the same freaking ad every time, but it's says something useful and helpful. Then hey, try oJoy. And that's kind of it. That's the whole strategy, man. And that's getting me customers for less than what I would pay if I was doing it the hard way, trying to write, really hardcore, aggressive, direct response copy and then measuring,
What's my cost per click and what's my CPA and stuff?
I haven't refreshed this campaign that you're looking at right here since June, and it's still cheap. Facebook's yeah, whatever. And that is targeting this tiny microscopic audience of people who engaged with my stuff over the past 7 days. It's 5,000 people. I'm still getting traffic from it, and it's super cheap to do. So I guess the point is, this whole thing really is a very less produced and worse version of the type of ads they used to do, and probably still do, to grow giant brands. So if you think of huge brands, Sears and Kellogg's and stuff, they were grown from TV ads. You couldn't click on a TV ad. They would just be Kellogg's, it exists, and whatever the cereal is, Frosted Flakes, it tastes real good and stuff. And then you'd see it 1 billion times, and you'd go and
Mom, let me get some whatever Frosted Flakes and stuff.
That worked amazingly. It wasn't nearly as expensive back then as it is now to be on TV. This is that, but it's cheaper. I ran my first ad campaign in like 1990 something before I even got online, and it cost me $5,000 to show a TV commercial 14 times in Macon, Georgia, and I didn't get any customers from it. I've spent less than that over the past 4 days. What is this? $2,156.33, and I've gotten 38 customers just from people typing it in. Again, I'm not counting people that like start to take a trial, get on my list, and then get in my 8 billion part email follow-up sequence. We're not tracking them. Those guys get tracked as email. I'm counting these dudes right here. Direct typed, that's clearly people who direct type. When it says oJoy.ai, that's when they type it in directly, but then they get redirected because they hit a deadline, they get redirected to a different page. So those are these dudes. These 10 are from Google, and I'm not even counting the people that like click on my YouTube stuff, even though they're clearly coming from that. I'm only counting like the people who deliberately look for the domain and people who like search for it on Bing. I'm not counting LinkedIn or anything like that, but I'm literally like tracking all this stuff. So that's how I know these numbers. These ads are making people want to buy oJoy.ai, even though I don't actually tell them to buy oJoy.ai. It's because they're just being educated on how to do cool stuff, and they're like associating the cool stuff with oJoy.ai because it does work, and then they just type it in, and it's freaking awesome. So there you have it. That's the update. Try this. Like take some of your content and just turn it into an ad, but not the typical type of ad where you're like, Facebook, give me customer. In fact, let me show you. All right. So there's like that videos on Facebook. Here's how I have this thing set up. I'm spending $30 a day. The campaign objective is engagement. And on the ad set level, I'm just saying, get me video views. And that's it. Now on the retargeting images, the campaign objective is awareness. And on the ad set over here, the objective is reach. That's so cheap. Same thing with YouTube. All right. So the setup on YouTube for all of the campaigns, whether it's retargeting or, top of funnel, is I choose my audience. So this one's just choosing people who watched my first ad and stuff. And then in feed, and I'm spending $50 a day on this one. The only thing that you need to watch out for is where it's shown. So when you're setting up a campaign on the YouTubes, the networks, I only choose YouTube. All right. None of that Google partner stuff. When you're doing it on the Facebooks, I'm only showing it. First of all, I have Advantage Plus turned off, all right? And I'm only showing this thing, so like manual placements on Facebook and Instagram, only in the main news feeds. That's it. If I'm doing videos, only in the news feeds and only in stories and reels. So Instagram stories, Facebook stories, Instagram reels, Facebook reels, not profile reels, and none of that other stuff. None of the partner network stuff, none of the just the obvious places that real people are looking at things. That's the setup, the difficult, super secret setup of it. That's all I'm doing, man. It's working great. What do you know? Same stuff that worked, back in the 50s and stuff when billion-dollar brands were built on television. Still works, but we live in this unbelievable golden age where people watch their videos on TV, on YouTube and stuff, and it's 4 cents to show them your video, at least for me. Unbelievable. Try my stuff, oJoy.ai. It's free. Ain't gonna hurt nothing by trying.